This is Papa Smurf. You're listening to Our Lifestyle, the podcast, with ODB and the Mayor.
Should we bang this out or what?
Oh, I definitely want to bang it out.
Yo, it's Our Lifestyle Podcast, episode 283. We're coming off the top ropes, and Mike, I think I heard you a second ago. You probably don't even remember 1983, but dude, we're going to get into it on this episode, aren't we? Where we're providing many truck scene updates.
Bro, 1983, I was a whopping 6 years old. So the one thing I remember was eating Mississippi mud pies and drinking out of a water hose.
Hey,
How many kids can say that? How many kids can say they do that nowadays?
I heard one of the Halloweens you dressed up as the Kool-Aid Man and tried to jump through a fence or something. But, dude, we're going to talk all about it because 83 is going to come up for the listeners they know on this episode. But, Mike, we got to thank our title sponsor, Custom Car Show Productions, one of our title sponsors. And their next event, Mike, is coming up kind of quick. And if you think about it, we're recording this beginning of April. Dude, the 20th anniversary of Scraping the Coast is coming up the last weekend in June. It's really going to kick off, I think, leading up to that 4th of July weekend, which is the following weekend. But I know you're always excited about hitting the Biloxi Coast for STC, Scraping the Coast 2022, right? Keep me honest, the 20th anniversary.
20th anniversary, brother, and it's the hottest show. And when I say it's the hottest show, I mean it's the hottest show on the blacktop outside. That's why we keep our happy asses indoors in the AC with that Freon poisoning. But guys, the 20th year, Lauren has promised you don't want to miss the 20-year anniversary of Scraping the Coast. So make sure you guys make your plans now and be there. And guys, inside the big ass building with all that Freon poisoning is filling up fast. So make sure you guys get y'all spot inside before it's too late.
Real deal. Now, we've got other additional updates, including Mini Truck Showdown that we'll cover on this episode. Mike, we're going to kind of, I don't want to say take a break because we have a jam-packed episode, and of course there's a lot going on, even in the OLP realm, but a little bit of a break and not have too much, maybe, I don't know, on this episode, but we are going to have Geoff from Mini Garage. He'll have a couple of updates, so we're linking up with him a little bit later. And, Mike, it's going to be kind of nice. You and I, we typically have a guest, so, we go over stuff, but, we don't get a chance to chat a lot. We'll cover a bunch of truck scene updates. And, I was going to say mini truck scene, but let's face it, the truck scene's bigger than just minis, right? I mean, it's sport trucks, full sizes, minis on the rise. Of course, you got C10s going crazy, F100s, you name it, the classic trucks. But, Mike, what did you think about the little ruse last week for April Fool's Day? The brainchild LMC over at Lowest Common Denominator for that one, brother.
Bro, I tell you what, these guys are something else. And I just hope when I grow up, that I can be cool like those guys. That's all I hope.
They're good people. And I tell you what, Shay moved pretty quick. When I opened the door and I saw him in the crib, man, I was like, what the hell? At first, I didn't recognize them. You know what I'm saying? They drove all the way down here for an iced tea home invasion. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. That's a long drive, brother.
Yeah, it's a long drive. But big ups to the homies. Check out Lowest Common Denominator. Now, Mike, we got a couple big things. I want to just start off here. We're still kind of in the overview. One of those big things, those big announcements, we'll announce at the end of this episode. So stick with us through this one. Of course, listen all the way through. It helps us from a listen minute perspective, whether you're in a phone app or on YouTube. But, Mike, at the beginning, I do want to just mention, you may have forgot, brother, but 2 weeks from now, for all the Day One listeners, we're going to be in where, Mike?
I believe it's going to be I call it bun fuck. No, that's not it. Wait, is 2 weeks? Is that going to be the one where we're at Salem, Mississippi? Oh wait, no, that's not it either. Oh shit, bro, you're gonna have to remind.
It's no witchcraft, Mike. It's Southeast Mini Trucking Nationals in Maggie Valley, North Carolina.
Valley, that's right. Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
Dude,
remember,
I don't know how I almost forgot.
Yeah, remember if you just go on Instagram and type in Mini Truckin', it's going to come up Mini Truckin' Nats. Of course, it's the 22nd through the 24th. It's the 28th annual, and we have said time and time again, Maggie Valley, it's going to be a great event. But what we really want to reinforce is that we've also got the VIP party. And Mike, it's going to be 4:30 to 6:30 on Saturday afternoon rather. And the important thing is, right, Mike, we wanted to move it up just a tad because we know everyone's going to be hot and tired. They're going to come over. They're going to already have their VIP pass, but what are they going to get whenever they spend a minimum $30 and they have to ask for the badge, right? Asphalt Army, Hammered Weekend Wear, or with our Lifestyle Podcast. What do they get for a token of our appreciation for the VIP party?
Well, we are going to have a dinner Saturday night right there by our booth. We're going to have the dinner. It's going to be brought to you by, I'm sorry, Malloy's, of course, but I'm sitting here about to say barbecue. But we're not having barbecue. We are having tacos. So, guys, come on out. Come on over. Like you said, it's either us, Asphalt Army, Hammered Weekend Wear, $30. All you have to do is spend $30, get you a badge, and it gets you that dinner for Saturday night and the VIP party. DJ Mays will be there over there playing music. So we'll come over, have a damn good time, and let's do the damn thing.
Yeah, again, you can go to any of the vendors. Each vendor is going to have a set amount of passes. So you got the keepsake. Those will kind of get a hole punch through them. And the other cool thing is, Mike, that you'll be able to go, for instance, like let's say you buy a couple skate decks from us, right? And then you go, hey, I heard about the VIP party. I want to be a part of that. Then boom, depending on, if you spend, $60, then you can get 2 passes, right? So, again, whether it's hats, shirts, banners, T-shirts, tank tops, whatever, and you got 3 vendors to choose from. I know, Mike, last year, not making this up, I was blown away. I mean, it was like noon, and somebody came by, and they go, and I was like, well, where's the other passes? And they're like, they're gone. So they do kind of go quick. We'll try to hold them back as long as we can, but come by on Friday for sure because, there's no doubt they'll be gone on Friday.
Oh, absolutely. Same thing that happened to us last year. As soon as we started selling them, they were gone. There's going to be 150 of them, and each, Hammered, Asphalt Army, us will have 50 each, and they will be gone very fast, just like they were last year. So don't hesitate. Don't wait. Get them while you can.
Yeah, the last thing is thank you so much to Rose Metalworks, Sean Rose. You heard him on recently, DJ Mays as well, Malloy's, as we mentioned. There's a lot of folks that kind of come together to make this one happen, and we're excited for it. But in addition to that, you really have to pay attention to – I almost feel like with this show, you got to look at the program, so to speak, because it's almost like a cruise ship, right? There's something going on every day. There is a lot going on, whether it be some of the charity type things they're going to be doing, the VIP party, all of that stuff. So, again, this is, a destination show, whatever you want to call it, cruise. There's plenty to do for the fam, so come on out.
Well, not only that, but you had just brought it up. Rose Metalworks will be auctioning off. What's he auctioning off?
Well, he's partnered up with Mittler Brothers, right? I think I say that right. And
yes, sir.
They've got the bead roller that Sean talked about. And I know that Sean worked back closely with Jason Bell and all, those forces come together. But, Mike, it's all for the greater good of the scene. It's for the greater good of helping your fellow enthusiast out or folks that are, possibly in a little rut in life or whatnot. But, again, Sean, he's explained all that in the past, and they're doing it for a great cause. So, whether it's someone's just hit some hard times or it's illness in the family. Shows like Scraping the Coast and Mini Truck and Nats, they have shown time and time again they give back, and I love it.
Oh, absolutely. And so make sure you guys are there for your chance to win a bead roller.
Now, the overview of this episode brought to you by Graphics Mafia. We've told you time and time again, if you need stickers for your brand, or maybe you need some truck logos, some decals for your club, hit up Graphics Mafia, GRAPHIX, mafia.com. Ryan and who, Mike?
Hey, buddy.
They will take care of you. They're doing wraps. They're doing it all. And even though they're in the Jacksonville area, they'll ship them. They'll traffic them across state lines, going to shows. They're great people. I know Chad Luke called upon Graphics Mafia when he needed some SEMA stickers. And when he was in a pinch, he knew who to call. Graphics with an X Mafia. So, Mike, the last episode recap, dude, I got to say, we've gotten a lot of great feedback about Eric Folber, negative Camber member. Dude loves some mini trucks, but man, dude, it was cool to hear some of that history from that region.
Oh, absolutely. And I tell you what, that man can tell some stories, brother. Holy cow.
Yeah, he's a good dude. And we didn't talk about it on this last episode, but his truck, this is a tip of the cap to him and the folks that have helped him over the years. Micah was featured 4 times. I think it was 2 in Mini Truckin', 1 in Sport Truck, 1 in Tailgate. And for one truck, I only know a few trucks that have graced that many publications. But if you think about it, the orange paint and things like that, I mean, that was always kind of the staple on it. But to have 4 features, I mean, it just shows how nice of a truck that it still is.
Oh, absolutely, brother. I mean, there's no the proof is in the pudding, I think is what they say. And he definitely 4 times. That's pretty awesome.
No doubt. And I want to do a quick plug to CS Metalworks. It's on Facebook, C and S Metalworks with the ampersand. And he also has a website, cs-metalworks.com. If you need air suspension components, reach out to Chris and team, Chris Burns. He's also on Instagram, of course, CS Metalworks. There's a couple underscores in there. You can send him a direct message, and Mike, he'll get you accuair, he'll get you universal air, he'll get you whatever you need. And I tell you what, he's a good dude. He always supports OLP. And I just want everyone to know, if you want great customer service and you don't have to maybe return your parts because you got the right stuff, dude, hit up Chris at CS Metalworks. He even has on his website, Mike, message us on WhatsApp. Dude, now that's service, you know what I mean?
Bro, that is definitely service right there.
Now, we want to thank the last episode recap. I don't want to get it twisted. We want to thank Lone Star Throwdown. And, Mike, you announced last week on OLP. Some people told me, man, I heard it on OLP. We try to bring you the latest. Even though Lone Star Throwdown is a staple for February, just a few months later, they're going to have the classic truck throwdown, I think it is, CTT, Classic Truck Throwdown. And that's going to be, it looks like, Mike, in 2023, leading up to the 4th of July holiday. So that's pretty cool, man.
Yes, sir. I mean, shit, they kill it with one, so why not do another?
I love it, man. So the general updates, Mike, I got to start with this, man. I went to the second annual, the third annual. Okay, many of us missed the first, and they talked about why, because they didn't have a lot of time to lead up to it. But this past weekend, you gallivanted, nothing's stopping you, bro. You gallivanted not one weekend, but 2 weekends in a row, and you were up in Niceville for the Decorver show, and I heard the camper that they stay in, there was a rumor going around with the news stations there that some camper was toppled over. They thought it was some high winds coming in, but apparently, luckily, you didn't have to stay by that camper at Sparks in the Park, right?
No, and apparently nobody else did either because, man, whoever was in that camper, that damn thing was rocking all night long. And I don't know how, whoever was in that camper, how they, got up the next day and put on a show. But apparently they were definitely rocking and rolling all night long.
Dude, I mean, apparently there was like a Kiss vinyl record laying next to it or something.
Something, I don't know. I just know that there was a bunch of noises and somebody apparently oiled it up Saturday morning because Saturday night it was going strong again. It just wasn't making all those screeching noises.
You thought it was fixed with hydraulics, right? I mean, you did.
Well, I thought it had hydraulics, but then we realized it didn't have hydraulics.
Well, listen, the DeCorvers, we now know for the record he's trying to do the Neon Dion Primetime Sanders for Altered Metal weekend. Okay, I know we're getting off on a tangent here. Was it true that he did the baseball football game the same day? Like he flew into Altered Metal right in the truck, then he gallivants over the next day at OBI, trying to get double tick marks in the same weekend. And Mike, I mean, that's dedication. Let's be honest.
Bro, did you just say he's got a flying truck? Holy shit!
He's got that 39, 999, 99. That Mayor Goldie Wilson III conversion, dog.
Bro, I guess I need to get me a flying truck, man.
Dude,
holy shit!
Oh no! I meant to say he has the floating spinner, the floating center caps. Is that? Are we on the same page? The floaters.
Okay.
My bad. I didn't mean to throw you off. But let's get back on track. And Sparks in the Park up in Niceville. Tell me it's not a beautiful venue, man. All the trees, dude. It's a cool place, ain't it?
Bro, I tell you what, I had an absolute blast. And, I mean, from just being able to hang out with all the Aftermath homies, just checking out, seeing everybody that was there, and all the NC guys. I mean, Scotty the Body was there, Matt Middleton, Mike Barsha, Chad Luke, man. I tell you what, he is a riot, absolute riot. And, but got to play cornhole. I mean, we had a blast, man. We had a really good time. We went, we had dinner together, and it was a good time, man. I definitely look forward to doing that all over again.
Yeah, it's great. A lot of NC kinfolk came out, and I think when you see Chad Luke the next time, in the Biggie song from Ready to Die, it's like, give me the loot, give me the loot. Like when you see Chad,
man.
Yeah, be like, give me the Luke, give me the Luke. I know he'll know what that means because he listens and he loves the hip hop tie-ins. You know what I mean? I think Chad's ready to drop a debut album. He doesn't want to overlay with the Gallivanting Man, because you heard the Gallivanting Man's dropping one soon. He's teaming up, and so I'm looking forward to both of these albums now. You know what I mean?
Well, definitely, the Gallivant Man is got to be the next hit song. I don't know why it hasn't already became one, but it better be out soon. That's all I can say.
So check this out, sparksinthepark.com. Hopefully they'll continue the tradition next year with the 5th annual. And I know, Mike, that I believe it or not, you gallivanted 2 weekends in a row. I, on the other hand, missed the last couple of weekends, east to west coast. There were shows all over, from Altered Metal to OBI, Forbidden Fantasy, so on and so forth. But it felt good, to really kind of help, the family here and take care of some of the duties that I've really been procrastinating on, right? One of our good family friends for many years, going back, one of my dad's best friends, he's been helping at the Ballard compound. Just stuff that, we've been needing to do. So, I always suggest to people, do what makes you happy. I love car and truck shows. Lord knows that. But I've realized, too, that I have other things that I really need to, dedicate my time to. My son's 16. I know, Mike, your daughter, she's plugging away with college and whatnot. So I encourage everyone, do what you love, but don't overwork yourself, Don't run yourselves into the ground, Mike. And as we get older and have aging parents and stuff, I know that, you've even had some things you've been dealing with. I know Josh Ellis, with the stuff he's been dealing with. I think it's important to remind people that just because you can't go to a show doesn't mean that, it's the end of the world. You know what I mean? And although I did peel away a little bit, Mike, this past weekend and kind of do some things Saturday afternoon and whatnot, I still had a lot, going on the last couple weekends. So, I just want everyone to know that.
Oh, absolutely, brother. And like we've said time and time again, hey, family first.
Real deal. And, my wife's had some stuff going on, my father-in-law as well. So we're able to kind of work through some of those things, and things are kind of getting back on track there. But it's also another reason, Mike, that I've tried to ramp up content on our YouTube channel. Let's face it, not all of us can make it to every show. But know that OLP's got your back, whether it's the podcast, our social media, or, of course, YouTube, for the foreseeable future. So go out there and check it out. We're well over 1,000 subscribers now, I think over 1,100. So I thank everyone for that. And I've been releasing a lot of old school video, and I'm going to continue doing that. Mike, though, I say all that, I was able to peel away, as I mentioned. Saturday afternoon, I went over to Roosters, which is a local rod shop, a humongous, crazy big shop, and they opened all the doors, and it was rainy, but it was still nice to go, drive over there to Clearwater and kind of hang out. I saw Tony Marie and others, and it just was a good time. So, even if you do stuff locally, you still kind of get your feet wet, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. And you ran into some good people over there, I can tell.
Yeah, Tony and her man, just good people. And, he had the Pathfinder. I got to talk to him a little bit. That was on the cover of Mini Truckin. Many of you guys know him, and he had it for about 3 years. And he's just a good dude. He talked about how he kind of saved the truck before, he said from the crusher. I don't remember the whole story, but he's a good dude. So, big ups to them.
I seen them at OBI, and we talked for quite a while. So it's always good to see him and the better half, at a show. Always good to catch up.
Yeah, Slim. I just call him Slim. So, there you go. But if
Slim is definitely something you can call him, and it's okay.
Yeah, and every time he'll say, "Well, the real Slim something's please stand up," and I was like, "Oh, yeah, I know that song." But Real Deal General Updates brought to you by Southeast Money Truck and Nats. As we mentioned, April will be out there. Real Deal Holyfield. Big ups to J Bell and the whole fam. So, Mike, next we got the trivia with Mike. Are you ready, dog?
Bro, I'm always ready for some trivia. So let's do this, brother.
Okay, players, now it's time to get serious.
Mike, say hello to my little friend. This 1983 movie takes place in, quote, Miami. A determined Cuban immigrant takes over a drug cartel and succumbs to greed. It's directed by Brian De Palma. I can't tell you who stars in it. Here's the crazy thing. It only grossed, I say only, right? We're talking 40 years ago. Now, the 83 tie-in is because we're going to talk about 1983 in a little while. So I wanted to kind of add that extra flavor, but it grossed 44.7 million. But here's the crazy thing. It really has become more than a cult classic, Mike. The movie has sparked personas, many, 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 many catchphrases in the hip-hop community and beyond, brother. So think back. Next year is the 40th anniversary of this famous movie. And here's one cool tip that a lot of people don't know is although you kind of get the feel the entire time of Miami, a lot of it was shot in Los Angeles, and it kind of still had that feel, that vibe. So, I mean, I don't know, dude. I mean, I know you're not a cult classic kind of guy,
Well, it's kind of funny that you bring this up because I was just reading about a show it's the anniversary. Or I'm sorry, not show, but movie that was having their anniversary, and it's The Godfather, is what I was reading about, and so I'm just curious. Is that what you happen to be talking about right now?
Man, dude, I think that was more like in the 70s, man.
Oh, see.
I mean, not maybe part 1 and part 2 was 70s, but that's a different one. I hate to tell you.
Oh shit, are you serious?
Yeah, and I always kind of thought like in Back to the Future 2 when he goes to the alternate 1985, and Biff is living in this palace and that type of thing. I almost kind of wondered.
That Pleasure Palace?
Right, the Pleasure Palace. And I kind of wondered if this, I can't say his name because he's one of my buddy's names too, but, if it was a gruesome movie, man. Like if you go back and you hadn't watched it in a long time, it's pretty gruesome, man.
Oh, really? Golly. Well, like you said, man, I don't know these cult classics like you do. So I mean, I don't know, man. Jeez, I'm lost. I don't know. Is there any other guess that you can give me that I could possibly be able to get this right?
Well, I mean, there were a couple states with the letter M, right, for the state name, and that was, I mean, the character's last name did start with an M, and it's kind of after a state of such and such.
Man, I'm confused, bro. I don't know the state and shit.
I wish I could give you more and tell you about my little friend, but that just may not give you any more ideas.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna have to take a loss on this one, bro. I mean, I'm sure everybody's already on the other side, like, oh my god, how did you not know this?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't have it. I don't know what it is.
You don't remember even Al Pacino starring in this famous role, man. I mean, just really. Listen, here's the last clue I can give you, and I hate to throw Hank under the bus, dude. Hank I think he wrote a lot of this because there was a lot of, paraphernalia and stuff like that in there, like white and stuff. And Hank, I guess back in those days, like he really, really, really was getting crazy. So that's kind of where he, got a little crazy in the 80s, I mean, you can't hold, I mean, the 80s were the 80s, right?
Yeah. No. And I mean, shit, because I know in the 80s, I snorted me a lot of cocaine.
Even as a kid, right?
Even as a kid. Yeah. Well, what'd you say, 83?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, shit, 6 years old. I was, I had to snort that white stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, Tony Montana really, he made it happen. And really, if you think about Grand Theft Auto Vice City, that was like the whole persona of the game, the ending and stuff like that. But dude, you got to watch the Scarface movie when you get a chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check out Scarface. I mean that one.
You forgot. Yeah, I have. Right?
Yeah. I totally forgot all about that.
Well, check it out when you can, because when he goes, "Say hello to my little friend."
Say hello to my little friend.
That's when. That's when
Hank
is given some of those like apparently he was with Oliver Stone when he was writing the screenplay for it. You know what I mean? So. I mean, I don't want to give away. I don't want to give away everything with Hank because I mean, he's still got some secrets. He's writing a book, I heard. So we'll have to see.
Hey, I look forward to reading the book.
Yeah, there's always next week, dude.
Well, you know what's so funny is I mean I had to get something wrong because everybody's always giving me crap about Jason probably tells you ahead of time what he's going to tell.
Yeah.
And so there you go, guys. See, I can't get them all right. And Jason doesn't tell me, hey, this is what we're gonna do, and this is what I'm gonna. So, guys, just so y'all know, see, look at that. I get him wrong every once in a while.
Yeah, say hello to his little friend, right?
Say hello to my little friend. I mean, besides, who doesn't know that movie, for crying out loud?
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah.
So, Trivia with Mike brought to you by Hank Norris over at Hammered Weekend, where he's working around the clock to get those orders shipped out. They just had the Leo Tahoe that dropped. I know Daniel Smith from Smithworks was behind that paint job. Mike, you know that Tahoe a little bit. I mean, my understanding, I swear it looks just like a Tahoe you used to have, but very much nicer.
Very much nicer. Very much nicer. And I tell you what, that paint job came out killer. Looks great. And I just seen some pictures. Freaking Leo's getting the interior done now. And it's coming out pretty freaking awesome too.
Yeah, and if you go to HAMMERD, weekendwear.com, you can go to T-shirts and you'll see that that Leo shirt the Leo gets, and then you'll also see the Jekyll and Hyde, which I absolutely hate Ron for launching this one because I always wanted to launch it. How dare he? but he did Sideshow, aka Ahead of You, and he did the different versions. Rest in peace, Eric Coleman. What an amazing, just an amazing one. And guess what, Mike? You can get your hands on it, the banners or shirts, the merch at Mini Nats with the Hammered Weekend Wear booth. So bring some extra cash, Mike, because I know Hank and Adam and maybe Ron, if he gallivants in, Dizzy, I heard, might even be helping. You know what I'm saying? So they are going to be going hard in the paint. You know what I mean?
Dude, Dizzy's everywhere.
Yeah, and if you hit up Dizzy, we've said this before, he can help bring your show to the next level. And I really mean that, because here's the cool thing. He does a lot of graphics and things that tie into the little overlays on Facebook. He can help promote your event with different social media posts, right? And graphics and things like that. So Don Dizzy Davis, you guys know who he is. Look up Dizzy on Facebook. You'll see him. He's friends with all of us, and he's a good dude. So hit him up. He'll take care of you. All right, Mike. So the scene updates. Mike, this was out of left field, dude. And I really regret that I have to cover this. Mini Truck Showdown, one of our title sponsors. We have been pushing this show as hard as we can the first weekend in June, and I am disappointed to have to share that the show has been, I have been told, based upon social media posts and a confirmation that I have from Corey, that I have to use the C word here. And I know a lot of women don't like the C word. I know, Mike, you don't like it. I don't like it from a show perspective. I do not like to see the word canceled. Okay?
Canceled. I thought you were going somewhere else with that. My bad. I thought you were about to say, hey, I thought, like when a girl says, come and look at my little friend, like that C word.
Right. So the show is unfortunately canceled. There are more details to come. I repeat, Mini Truck Showdown, the first weekend in June, has been canceled. I have updated our official OLP show calendar, which you can go on our website, go to the show calendar, and click here where it says to click here. It will ask you if you want to subscribe. I've updated that to put canceled in caps in front of it. So it's still there from a historical perspective. But what we don't know is what's going to happen. Corey, I know he's going to try to pull the nose of the plane up and figure something out, a different maybe month, weekend, you name it. So, Mike, just keep it locked here as well as to Mini Truck Showdown on Facebook and Instagram for more information.
Absolutely, brother, because I tell you what, we're definitely looking forward to going to that one.
Last weekend, Car Fix, which we've dubbed Mini Truck Fix, it did officially air. However, it was out a week early in the Motor Trend app. Okay, we've talked about Motor Trend before with Monster Garage coming on when we had Rob Rodell. We've talked about it before, but the cool thing was I had an opportunity to watch it about a week early. I can't thank Jeremy Bumpus enough for including us. I know Joel Cruikshank was involved, Tim from NC Florida for linking us up with Jeremy, and Mike, a couple of clubs, including our homie Scotty the Body, all came through that day, and I have since launched or released some behind-the-scene footage of that on our YouTube page, Our Lifestyle Podcast. But to be able to see it, right, on TV, and of course I didn't have a roll on there other than some kind of B-roll, had the camera on bada bing as I was driving it through Ybor City, and just a few things like that, Mike. I mean, just seeing the mini trucks on TV, I can't thank Jeremy enough, man.
Oh, absolutely, and definitely can't wait, man. So look forward to it, and it's right around the corner.
Mini's on the rise. Go check it out, everyone. Motor Trend on, I'm sure your DVR, or if nothing else, on Apple TV or your phone. Download Motor Trend and sign up. Mike, I went back and I told you this the other day. I listened to LCD Podcast. I re-listened to episode 50, and I just really enjoyed it. Justin Wyatt was on. He talked about a lot. I love kind of just the open conversation they had. I learned some things on some tips on, maybe how shows could go a little bit different. I loved how he talked about, charging the parking fee that kind of kept folks there, to eat at some of the food vendors and stuff. But I always enjoy their episodes, and I highly encourage, as Mike, I know you do, Lowest Common Denominator LCD Podcast. It's fun. It's upbeat. They've got cool stuff. Go check it out, right?
Oh, bro, you do not want to miss it. And we can't forget our boy over at our boys over at the custom scene as well, Glenn and Dizzy. Make sure you guys are checking that one out as well.
Real deal. Just a couple more things. I talk about all the time, Mike, uniting the scene. You've heard me talk to folks before about burying the beef in the past. I highly encourage, just on this episode, kind of free, open episode that we're doing, kind of truck scene updates. I encourage everyone, do your best to just bury the beefs that you got. I've moved past some BS, with others, and to be honest, I brought on as much as they did, if not way more on my side. And, I take ownership for that. I feel better about it, Mike. There's no tension. And let's be honest, we're not some crazy, thug people here, right? We're not East Coast, West Coast killers, right? Our time is limited here. And there's no reason, in my opinion, Mike, to lose sleep over bullshit. Focus on positivity. Oftentimes, both parties are willing or should be willing to let bygones be bygones. I mean, hell, Snoop did a track saying bygones be bygones, burying the beef with Suge Knight. And if Snoop can bury the beef with Suge Knight, anyone in this truck scene should be able to bury the beef with their homies or old friends or whatever, right?
Oh, absolutely. And just like you said, I've buried quite a few, and there's some more out there that need to be buried. And I'm definitely willing if those others are as well. So it takes two to tango, right?
Yeah, it does, and I'll tell you this. I've mentioned this in the past, but Ice-T, on whether it's on Instagram or Twitter, he posts some really cool stuff, and he calls them his ice-cold facts, right? And he had one, and I'm not going to read it verbatim, but it had something to say like, a hater can easily sit there and campaign and tell you why so-and-so's a piece of this or a piece of that. And it made me think, it's like, I don't want to be that guy campaigning against anyone. No one in this truck scene's perfect. I'm sure there's people that have done worse than others. And, in many people's eyes, a bad deed is a bad deed, right? So most people say don't judge a bad deed, right? I mean, they're bad. But not to get too philosophical, I just think at the end of the day, I personally don't want to be a guy going, yeah, don't go to that guy's show because of this, or yeah, don't buy that guy's air suspension because of that. Dude, I tell people when they go, hey, what shop should I go to? Hey, just like if you're going to get work done on your house, do your research. Talk to existing customers. Talk to past customers. Do a little bit of research. And I say that because I don't want to tell people don't go to this or don't go to that. Hey, it's one big happy truck community. No one's perfect, right? I'm sure I've made mistakes. I know I have. But I encourage everyone, Mike, do your best. Move them. It doesn't mean people have to be best friends. Slap hands with the person, bury the beef, and just move on, right? Because no one needs the hate in their heart. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. I like where you're going with this, my man.
Real deal, man. That's all I can ask. I've seen some other things out there, some good stuff. We'll share a couple of them. I know Tony Moore, he had DJ Mays come through. They did some underlighting glowing for at the Asphalt Army compound, which I thought was cool, Mike. And, I've seen other folks out there, like all the NC guys getting together for Sparks in the Park that we talked about a little bit earlier ago. And I see Welch's Chop Shop kind of putting the finishing touches on the Mini Truck and Nats awards. But all that is the positive stuff I love to see. You know what I mean? And there's enough negativity in the world. It's like, hey, we don't need it in this mini truck scene, this truck scene of ours in general. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely, brother. Preach it, brother.
Preach. This scene update is brought to you by Garage Gear Clothing. Remember, Mike, it's let me see. I've been looking for my calculator. I think they raised the shipping price. Did you see that on GarageGearClothing.com, or was it still? What are you still seeing? How is it $0 still? Damn it! They keep telling me it's going to double in price from $0. They said it's $0, but we're getting ready to double it. I was like, dude, well, what's double $0? They're like, $0. I go, I see
double
where you're
$0
going.
is 4 zeros.
Right. So GarageGearClothing.com, Mike, whether it's a holiday, a birthday, a born day, as I like to say, or you just a holiday, a birthday suit, GarageGearClothing.com. GarageGearClothing.com. All right, Mike. I'm gonna. The only other thing I want to cover with you is 1983, and then I'll finish up just the show updates, unless you're good on time. But I know you got a lot going on, Shannon and stuff like that, and then you're still shipping out shirts.
Yes, sir.
But I just want to cover these three. I got three for you from 1983.
All right, let's do it.
January 30th, 1983. Okay, I don't want to offend anyone by saying this. Okay, this is by all means. My dad and I liked this football team growing up. Loved the logo and stuff. So I'm going to say this based upon how I copied it and wrote it down. The Washington Redskins won their first NFL Super Bowl, defeating the Miami Dolphins following, do you remember this, Mike, a short season due to the players' strike. Okay, the Super Bowl, it was Super Bowl 15 or 17.
50. Okay.
Yeah, it was XV11. I think that's 17. Saw the AFC champ Miami Dolphins. Remember that was Marino, I think, his only Super Bowl. And the NFC Championship Washington Redskins face off for the short 82 season. 9 regular season games. The Redskins defeated the Dolphins by a score of 27-17 to win their first ever championship. The game was played January 30th, 83 at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, Mike. And I just wanted to kind of reinforce that because we've seen craziness in sports in terms of like with the COVID and all that. But it's not unprecedented to have a shortened season like they did in 83.
Wow. That's insane, bro.
Insane to the membrane. Insane to Mike's brain. Yeah, dude. Imagine winning you won 5 games and you were in the fucking playoffs, dude. Jim Mora was not ready for that, was he?
No, definitely not.
Okay, March 25th, 1983. I think this is the only other one I wrote down. No, I wrote down 2 more. Motown celebrates the 25th anniversary of a television special, Motown 25, blah, 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 blah. Michael Jackson performs Billie Jean and introduces the moonwalk. So it's crazy to think only 40 years ago the moonwalk. Now, I know not everyone's a big MJ fan. I mean, he's more like the pop. He's, it was a big part of pop culture and stuff like that. But I've heard from your brother that there is video out there of you doing the moonwalk as a kid. We're going to have to get our hands on it, bro.
Well, bro, the thing about it is I was wearing my cowboy boots when I was doing it. So that makes it even more impressive.
Right, and I did hear you were watching Scarface as a kid, which led you to some of hanging out with Hank back in the day.
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Me and Hank go way back.
And lastly, Metallica's Kill 'Em All is released. Dude, imagine having a title like that on an album these days. You know what I mean? They thought Body Count with some of their tracks was crazy. And then you got Metallica with Kill 'Em All, dude. I mean, that's pretty hardcore, bro.
That's definitely insane. And but with that being said, that's not the harshest thing around nowadays. You know what I'm saying?
Right, it's not. And then the last thing I want to announce here, and then we'll talk to Geoff from Mini Garage, and then we'll finish the episode. Mike, I don't know if you know this. This is breaking news for OLP. There's one of the vendors that really stepped up for Eastbound Get Down this year, and you guys partnered with them. You guys had them on the backdrop. DJ Mays from DJ Mays Radio was standing in front of that backdrop. And this company is now in Florida. And this company has done a lot for the scene, i.e. what I just mentioned, but it's also continued to push the air suspension, the air management, air suspension in general, forward to the next level. And I want to announce that we have partnered with AccuAir for them to be one of our key sponsors. And we are so stoked. We have much more in store coming, whether it be new product announcements, maybe even a shop tour. I don't want to announce too much, but I want to thank Ryan and Derek and the entire team. They have great customer service, Mike. I know they're still ramping up as an organization, but in the AccuAir owners group, they're often Ryan's answering questions. They, of course, respond to emails. And we just thank AccuAir for the continued support of the scene of ours, brother.
Absolutely, man. And who better to team up with than, of course, AccuAir. I mean, you can't go wrong there.
thank you guys. And accuair.com, you can sign up for a profile there, and you can submit photos to be featured if you have accuair on your vehicle. You can buy items as well. They even have new merchandise, like with shirts and stickers and things like that you can buy. But Mike, with that being said, dude, I'm going to call Geoff from Mini Garage next. Thank you so much to you and Mrs. Mayer for shipping out all the merch. I believe by this Friday it's all going to be out. And thanks for all that you guys do, man.
Absolutely, brother. Hey, thank you for what you do, and thanks to the Airhead Nation for all their support. Definitely appreciate it.
Stay on the rise, Mike, and we're going to continue this episode.
Sounds good, man. See ya.
So, Mike, he and I had talked earlier, and he's still working, as I mentioned, to ship out all the shirts. So the OLP Real American OBS shirt, it's kind of got a couple names, but I think that's the main one that stuck with me that kind of ties into the theme of the shirt. We have seen the sales really ratchet up on this one. And what I would suggest is if you can, go out to ourlifestylepodcast.com. You can see there on the homepage or on the left side, there is a category for all of that merch, includes the stickers. And we thank everyone for the continued support. Go out there and make a purchase. All right. The last few things that I have is the show updates. So what I've decided this week is I'm just literally going to spend a couple of minutes and I'm going to go through the next few shows. So this is going to be the quick version. And I know some of you are thinking, hey, great. And some of you are thinking, no, I want the long version. Listen, we do a new episode every week. If we can go into more detail next week if we need to, right? So right now we have Southeast Mini Nats 2 weeks away. There's going to be people from everywhere. So again, the 22nd through the 24th in Maggie Valley, North Carolina. 2 weeks from then, you have Battle in Bama. So many of you are going to descend upon the battleship there in Alabama. They're on Instagram. They're on Facebook. Cruise to the Pines is also that same weekend. Phoenix to Prescott, May 14th. We are going to have, possibly next week, we're going to have the homie on to talk a little bit about that. So I'm excited. Now, one thing that I've got to add to the calendar that I have not yet, so I just thought about this. So the next weekend on the calendar is Relax It in the Park. So we know Relax It in the Park is the 20th of May through the 22nd. That is in Festus, Missouri. All right. Now, Mike is planning to go up to it. I was planning to go. I have been looking for tickets, and the tickets are cheap, as I said recently, to fly up. The challenge for me is I want to take Allegiant, and Allegiant just doesn't have the day or the time that I want to fly. So I want to go early Friday and come back kind of early to late morning Sunday. Just not available. So I am going to continue to look. I have not thrown the towel in yet, but I want people to know Relax It in the Park. It is a cool show. They have obviously been hit with all kinds of different stuff the past few years, but the key word is they're resilient. So we're looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with another year under their belt. 2 weeks from there was Mini Truck Showdown, which has been canceled, unfortunately, so I wanted to share that. The week of, or the day, June 11th, Class Act presents Kickin' It Old School. We will talk for a few minutes with Geoff about that. Again, Class Act, there are some great folks. That is actually, believe it or not, in Boring, Oregon. So if you're in the area or you just want to get out of town, this is an 11th annual event, so it's not just a fly-by-night deal. At the end of June is going to be the 20th anniversary of Scraping the Coast, so the 24th, 25th, 26th. I do know that Lauren had announced, because of the concert that has been booked on Friday, the outdoor vendors will not be able to set up until very early on Saturday. I know that led to some people, I'm sure, thinking all kinds of different things. Oh, is that trying to get more people to go inside, more money? No, it's not. They would love for people to set up early Friday. It's just they can't, and it's the venue, and the venue is going to do whatever is going to bring them the most money. So they booked a concert on Friday, is my understanding. And then, even though I was going to stop at June, I do want to mention the good fine folks over at Southern Tradition. So Southern Tradition is July 9th, and that July 9th and 10th, excuse me. That's in Canton, Georgia. Beautiful area. Come on out if you can. Now, next week, I will try to get, if I can, either next week or the week after, to get with Graham. Graham is doing a new show. This is the one I mentioned I'm going to add now to the calendar, and we're talking May 21st through the 22nd. So, technically, it's going to be the same weekend as Relax in the Park, although it's going to be out in St. George, Utah. All right? The cool thing is that weekend always reminds me of like Show Fest weekend, so it's cool to get out and go to a show. But Rollin' with an IN and then another IN, kind of like relaxing in the park. Well, Rollin' in the Rocks. This is a show, again, in St. George, Utah. Beautiful area. Graham Hancock is leading the charge out there. Go follow him on Instagram if you're interested in the event. So that's it for the shows this week. We want to thank the West Coast Influence for the continued support. You can go out to minitruckfilm.com and you can order this Blu-ray or DVD film. It is a documentary style. It's fantastic. Big, big, big ups to the West Coast Influence. All right, OLP, just kind of in general, the podcast updates. If you can, go out and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Now, I typically only talk about Apple Podcasts because that's really the center of everything for podcasts, right? If you can, leave a 5-star, and then you can write a review where you just tap it right on your phone. You just go into that app, select Library, select OLP, and then scroll all the way down. Now, I'm looking at Apple Podcasts via the Mac, which, I just opened the podcast app. I can leave a rating here as well. And it looks like the last one we got was from Crockett's Drop Shop, and I think I read this one before, but I just want to thank him. Great podcast. Keeps you in the know of all of the truck scene. Really appreciate the support. Again, if you can do a review, it helps us. Now, if you're on Spotify, I did notice the other day that you can rate a podcast within Spotify. So I typically use Spotify a good amount, believe it or not, for some podcasts. And I believe you can go, actually, I'm looking at it right now. I searched OLP on Spotify. I went into our landing page, and you see our artwork. And then beneath that is a star rating. So you can go right in there, and you can tap 5 stars and submit. We're at 4.8 out of 5, and I think we have about 16, 17 reviews. So thank you, everyone that has taken the time to do that. The merch, as we mentioned earlier, is going to mail out this week. And I can tell you this, we've got the next thing in store. We're going to have a sneak peek soon. You will not believe it. A truck that was finished a couple decades ago and never really got the love I thought it should have anywhere other than, print and DVD. Now, don't get me wrong. This is one badass truck. But it's going to surprise you, I think, that it didn't get more love. So stay tuned. That's all I can tell you. It's going to be killer. All right, the Airhead Nation updates. 2 quick ones. Jerry Lewis, the OGRA, he got married, so big congratulations to him. And DJ Mays, his parents celebrated their 50th anniversary. Dude, that is insane. Love to hear it, love to see it, and big ups to our family. The last thing I'll say is I know on HBO, I think the night of this recording, maybe on Monday, the new Tony Hawk documentary came out. So I know he's been doing a lot of press stuff. I know he recently had broke a bone. And, dude, the guy's dedicated. I think truly the greatest of all time in his sport. And I'm so looking forward to watching it. So I'm going to get out on HBO and I'm going to watch it. And I'm so stoked. So I'll give you guys a review coming up soon. All right. So I know this week, I know some of you guys are going, man, you could have had a guest. We still have a long list, okay? I have been plugging away and knocking people off that list. This week, just with things going on, a little bit laid back of an episode, but I will check in with Geoff from Mini Garage, which I've been wanting to do. Please check out our OLP YouTube page, Our Lifestyle Podcast. Stay on the rise, and we'll hit you back next week. We've got a lot of shows lined up for the rest of spring and summer. Looking forward to the rest of 2022. So big ups to everyone. Peace. Yo, so as I mentioned just a minute ago, linking back up with the big homie, Geoff from Mini Garage. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. How you doing, homie?
Dude, it's always real. I've seen you at so many shows. I feel like we're brothers, man. We are in this scene of ours. And, dude, no matter if you're up in the Pacific Northwest or I'm down here in Florida, man, as the Florida man, we're always chopping it up, it seems like.
We are, and I really enjoy hooking up with you at shows. There hasn't been many shows up here in the Northwest. They are on the rise. Looks like for this year, COVID's opened back up, so we might be having some shows up here. And but I always enjoy hooking up with you wherever we are.
Yeah, no doubt. And if it was David DeCorver on, I'd have to give him a hard time because, that camper that he's got, it's been fixed with hydraulics, and I think there's stuff that goes on in there. You know what I'm saying? So when he says hooking up, he's like on a different level. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, way different level. But speaking of Dave, today, April 8th, when this airs, that's my doppelganger, my twin brother's birthday. Oh, wait a minute. It's my birthday, too.
Happy born day to you. So are you saying happy born day to the crazy man?
I am. Tick Mark Willie, happy born day.
Dude, 4-8. We don't want to give away the year because, I think you were born in like 85, right? I mean, you and I was born like in 92, I think.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, man. It's good stuff. So happy born day to both of you guys. Now, you mentioned shows a minute ago, and I finally got my fingers working earlier, and I added a show in June to our official OLP show calendar. And it's, dude, I don't know if you've ever heard of this club. There was a movie in the 90s that I loved. It kind of had Kid 'em Play in it. And the movie was called Class Act, right? But I think there's a club called that, isn't there?
There just might be. Yeah. Wait, that's my club.
Right. So, I get this. You may not know this. I have one Kickin' It Old School shirt, okay? And the man with the yellow Toyota up your way.
I do, Travis Parr.
Travis Parr, good dude. And when I came up, he gave me a shirt. Now, talk to this, or he may have sent it to me. Talk to us a little bit about this June 11th event that you guys are going to try to still have, right?
Yeah, we're still having it. So June 11th in Boring, Oregon, at Barton Park would be our 11th or 12th annual show. We didn't have it for 2 years. We kind of had a get together last year, but this year it is a one-day show, top 25 event. We usually get it's small, about 150-ish cars, and there's on-site camping. So you bring your family, you come for the weekend, you camp out, and it's a really it's a family event, And our artwork this year, we had on our Facebook page, we had some kids come up with, what Kickin' Old School means to them. And so the final artwork should be out later this week. It's like an old refrigerator with the Fisher Price letters on it that says Kickin' It Old School, and it's got the kids' drawings tacked up to the refrigerator.
Dude, that's sick, man. And what's awesome is I mentioned this earlier in the podcast with the dates. It's not like a fly-by-night show. I mean, this is 11th annual, so you guys have 10 of these under your belt, and it's got to be a good feeling to bring together all the good kinfolk from that area. There's a lot of you guys up there, and ladies.
It sure is, and we've had the support of all the Northwest guys forever and ever, and we're back hitting it hard this year, and we're excited to do it.
Now, there is a rumor that I guess I'm going to break it on OLP, and we can't go into too much detail because we are, we can't talk about it, but there's a rumor that Hank is trying to move, and we don't know, like, what's going on, that I know it's not witness protection because we heard Mike a few episodes ago, like, man, within like a second, he was like ratting him out. I'm going, Mike, dude. Bro, I mean, you can't be doing that. We know Hank would never rat anyone out, so I know it's not witness protection. But this brings up, if Hank's not there, he may not be able to go top ropes off a truck and take someone out, like one of the petitioners, right? So is there anyone else maybe from that area that you guys are going to try to coach up, to maybe go top ropes on someone?
I think one of the guys in our club, James Raber,
Good.
he is kind of the enforcer, and he would definitely do it.
Yeah, brother. Well, you know what? I want to give a shout out, since we're talking about the Pacific Northwest, to one of my good brothers and a guy that you know very well. I think he could be kin to DB Cooper, right? But we got Craig Braid up in the area, and he recently helped out my buddy Randy. And I know, dude, he's a staple up there. But, you know, guys like that all come together for an event like Class Act Presents, kicking it old school, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Craig's been several times. A lot of his Sitting Pretty group comes down from the Seattle area. The Relaxed Guys show out pretty hard. The Freaks come. I mean, it is. There's Sunset. It's big clubs all over show up for this one weekend, and most of them camp. You have to reserve the campsites through the Barton Park, and those campsites do go quick, and they're available on the county website.
And it's Barton Park, and it's Boring, like the Boring Company, Boring. So anybody that wants to Google it or pass along the good word, I know even Jamie and team from Mini Truck Colt. If you go on Facebook and search, for this event, I've seen past coverage. You've also posted some, as Jamie has, and I know Jamie's a huge supporter of all that stuff up there.
Absolutely, Jamie's always down to make the scene grow up here, and we always appreciate him. And yeah, he's got some stuff posted of last year, just a little meet that we had. Same with me. And there's, it's a big weekend in a small little, it's like out in the woods. It's really cool.
Yeah, and rumor has it that like when the gangs get together, like Class Act and Sitting Pretty, you guys look like you're gonna fight, and then you guys bust out into the dance from like Michael Jackson Beat It. You know what I mean? Like when the two guys they all get together, the two crews.
Yes, it's just like that, two groups.
And I think Hank started that kind of with the red jacket and stuff. But again, if he's not there, we're gonna have to coach someone up there to at least go as hard, if not harder, in the paint.
And I think you're right. We'll coach them up.
Hey, speaking of events, I thought this was cool. A couple years ago, remind me, there's a cruise up there. They go to this one area where it's real beautiful. It's like, I think it's private property, where they cruise up to, and Hank and Ron were on it that year, and they were taking videos and photos and stuff. But is that the Pacific Northwest cruise?
Yeah, Pacific Northwest Cruise to the Pines.
Yep, there you go. And
that's Perfect Poise, Tanner, and Billy put that together, and it's always amazing. I've never been. I've seen pictures and posted, and when I was at LSD, Tanner and Billy both hammered on me, and I'm going to make it this year for sure.
Yeah, and I've got to get that. Let me see. I think I may have added that one to the. Yep, I got it. So that one is August 12th, 13th, and 14th, the NW Northwest Cruise of the Pines. And I want people to know, though, the difference, because I did mention earlier, because I wanted people to know, I mentioned earlier that May 14th, Cruise to the Pines, the Phoenix to Prescott, that's two different events, and that's cool because you got two different regions of the country. So I'm glad to hear that you're going to be going out to that one later this year, Geoff.
Absolutely. There was a whole bunch of Jamie again posted some video of that last year, and the cruise looked amazing. I think I'm gonna take my Kia truck up there and make that run with that.
Hell yeah, gas brake dip it, right? Try to get like maybe 3-wheel.
Hell yeah.
I love it. Now, one other aspect that I love always linking up with you is because, you're a mini truck fiend, man. Like we could talk trucks all the time. I love all the stuff that you're constantly doing. But you seem to have really got a footing into wanting to kind of get into parts, right? You found some good honey holes, but you've also done it in a way that is fair to a lot of folks, right? Because these parts are getting harder. You were crisscrossing the country just seemingly a year ago. What can you tell us about some of the things that you've been able to do and some of the people that you've been able to kind of take care of from a parts perspective?
There's going to be a 320 at Mini Nats that's got some parts that we sold on it. Some of you may have heard of up in the Pennsylvania way. We bought a wrecking yard last year that is full of Datsun parts. So although I do Mazda all the time, we're starting to go towards some Datsun stuff. some 720, 620, 521 stuff, and I've got some 320 stuff. And I want to preserve the trucks that we have and be able to fix stuff, and so that we can keep this scene of ours going. And if somebody doesn't save these trucks and get the people the parts they need, they're just going to go away.
Yeah, because it was so funny. Earlier in the episode, I mentioned, so you'll know this truck, right? It ties into what you're saying. Last weekend, I got a chance to link up for a minute with Tony Marie and her husband, her man Slim, right? And Slim, for a minute, had I call it the yellow B-52 bomber Pathfinder from the cover of Mini Truckin. Mm-hmm. So he was the guy that I know that, like, it had surfaced, and he had it for about 3 years. Now, I didn't get a chance to hear the whole story from him, but when he said he got it, he kind of saved that thing from the crusher. And he goes, I did the best I could for about 3 years to kind of bring it back and kind of curate it a little bit, right? And he goes on to the next guy, and he's got big plans to really make sure this truck, continues on. But it blows me away that something like that could even be close to the crusher. But oftentimes when you think about parts, if someone doesn't have a facility to store them or the property, they could easily maybe get hit something from a city. Hey, you got to get rid of this, blah, blah, blah. What we don't want is for that old metal to just be thrown away and scrapped, man. I mean, that's a travesty.
Absolutely is. And we've got a building that's just outside of town that we pay, rentals on every month. And I've got a fairly good yard here at home. And the city does get on me from time to time about having too much stuff sitting out here. So I have to kind of shimmy it around, move it around. But luckily I've got my new trailer, and we're hauling stuff around and putting it here and there. And we're saving it for the next people.
And that's what it's about. And the other awesome aspect is you and I have talked a couple times, and it's not easy for parts to get from Australia to Japan or Japan to U.S. or, any which way you can cross those lines. But when you can help out an international buyer, or you can help out a guy or a lady that's building a truck that really desperately needs a part, whether they're, doing right-hand drive stuff or left-hand drive or whatever, it's got to be a good feeling to link up with people from all across the world.
It really is. I've got a guy that's messaging me right now that needs a floor pan for a Mazda, and he's in the UK. And we look for the most affordable way to ship stuff and get him the parts he needs. And so to make sure that it's right, he draws a picture, tells me, gives me the measurements, and I want to make sure that I cut him the right amount the first time, and he gets it at the lowest possible price.
Yeah, that's real deal, because, like, a couple times I know, I probably shouldn't bring this up, but when Ron has tasked Hank, like, he'll give Hank a one-way ticket. Say, take this, part, wink, over to, like, this other country. And he goes, I cut it right in the right amount, and, like, it's not too much, it's not too little. That, I think, was like, moving, mini truck parts, I think, right?
You would think, but Hank's pretty good at cutting stuff up.
Right. And I, he'll always tell me, like, it's an Alpine, like the cage and stuff he needs. He's like, a guy needs it. I'm thinking, why wouldn't you just ship that? But, he said he's got deals he's got to do, so we kind of let him go.
That's right.
Now, please tell me this, right? We're talking about Mazdas a little bit. We're talking with Geoff from Mini Garage, and it's Geoff with a G. And I want to know your red Mazda. When we last linked up, I think it may have been at SEMA. Like I said, I've seen you at so many spots, dude. Talk to us a little bit about where your red Mazda now resides.
So last August, my son got married, and as a wedding gift, I gave it to him. That red truck we built for him. We got it when he was 10 years old. It was his first truck. It was featured in Common Treads, I think, in 2014 when he was 15 years old. And then he was getting ready to buy a house. And right as we were starting Mini Garage, he asked me, he was telling me he wanted to sell the truck so he could have money for the down payment for his house. And, he's 21 years old, going to buy his first house. And I'm like, that truck's not going anywhere. I'll buy it, And so I gave him the money for the truck, and I took it and started changing things, and everybody saw what it turned into. And when he got married, I just felt it was the right time to just give it back to him. He had his house. He wasn't going to lose it. So I gave it back to him. And then he promptly said, "Well, Dad, I don't like the shell on it." And I'm like, "What?
Dude, that's
You don't like the shell?"
Yeah, that's like dude, that's like fighting words right there. But then you had to remind yourself that was your son, though.
Right. Yeah. So I didn't kick him in the knee or anything. I told him I'd gladly take it back. So I took the shell back, and he's got that truck. He's redoing the air ride, changing a couple things and making it his own, and it should be out later this year.
Wow, that's sick, dude. That's true family connection right there. You talk about minis on the rise, bro.
That's what we do. I bought a truck for my wife for Christmas, and we're working on that. And my daughter's getting ready to graduate from high school. I bought her a standard cab automatic truck, and her and I have been playing with that. It had a blown head gasket when we got it, and she's almost 18 and working on trucks with Dad. And we're starting up some cruising here in Portland in the next week or two on Friday nights to cruise the strip. And my wife and my daughter will both have trucks to cruise.
Man, let's be honest, how could the mini truck life of Mini Garage Geoff, dude, you talk about getting your flowers, dude, like while you're here, bro. Like, that's like the American mini truck dream right there, brother.
Hell yeah, it is.
Dude, what more can
you surround yourself with you surround yourself with great people, and great things will happen.
Yeah, I love hearing it. And speaking of that, I for some reason I forgot or I neglected to add in, we did about a 3.5 minute piece at Lone Star Throwdown earlier this year. And I'm telling you, I see Geoff all the time, and we jumped on we jumped on the lifted golf cart, and we got to cruise around a few minutes. And, I posted that video on our Lifestyle Podcast YouTube page. And it made me think back to the great conversation that we had that day, and we tried to give a little bit of positivity in terms of, a good word to the next generation of mini truckers. But I think the other cool thing, or the other meaningful thing is, and I said this earlier about burying the beefs, not all of us get along. It could be some stupid stuff that's festered into more BS, right? There's a certain crews that may not like each other, certain people, whatever, but I try to highly encourage, as we briefly talked about that day, bury the beefs, man. Get out there, have fun. There's no reason to, have your stomach in knots over some bullshit and wasting precious time when you could be out there doing some of the stuff you're doing with your family, just enjoying life.
It's funny you mentioned that, because just the other day I kind of got into it on Facebook with somebody who I actually respect, and he's in a different part of the country, and it wasn't until we actually got on the phone and talked, person to person over the phone, that it was just done. And it was a 5-minute conversation. If we'd had that, before we started internet keyboarding at each other, it would have been squashed way before that. So I encourage you, if you think you've got beef with somebody, by all means, try to have a conversation and not just talk back and forth on the internet at each other.
Yeah, because I was talking to Mike about it, and I didn't want to bring this up with him because he wouldn't have understood it. But, Mike walks around like he's big. He says, beef is when I see you guaranteed to be an ICU. And I go, Mike, you're not Biggie Smalls. You know what I mean? I'm like, calm down, Mike. But, no, in all seriousness, Geoff, you nailed it. And I think one big difference nowadays is we can go at other people via text, via messenger, via Facebook posts, back and forth. But all of that doesn't equate to just being able to talk to someone on the phone for a minute. Or, hell, the old term is, quote, pick up the phone, right? Well, think about this. If you really want to get crazy, FaceTime with the person and say, hey, man, what's going on, or, hey, did I offend you or whatever? Because, listen, we all have different beliefs. We're all from different makes and things like that. So the thing that I have really tried to train myself the last 10 years or so is look, we're not going to all get along. We all have different philosophies. Some people love Ford, some love Chevy, some love guns, some hate guns. Everybody's different, but I'm not going to hate someone just because of something they believe. Now, granted, if they're spewing, hatred and they're, talking about, horrible, horrible things, okay, dude, they're off my radar. I'm not effing with them. But, let's be honest. If you like Ford and I like Chevy or vice versa, I'm not going to go to blows with you. You know what I'm saying?
No, and you'll be just fine unless you get a squatted truck.
Right, exactly, right? And we've had to take Hank and put him on squatted truck duty. Like, he's had to go talk to some people and kind of go, listen, you can't park here, You're not one of
Right.
us, But we've talked about a lot, but I want to hit on Mini Garage. Now, it's hard, I think, I don't know if you ever experienced this, but when you become, I don't even want to say a content creator, but like when you're making a podcast or you're doing YouTube channels or you're making videos, on top of doing your regular, like, hey, I'm pulling an engine or whatever, to me it becomes harder because, it becomes harder to go and consume all the other good content out there because you're, working and then filming and then you're editing, then you're uploading, and then you're like, okay, I need a mental break from all this, right? But what I've continued to see from you guys, and from you in particular, Geoff, is you do continue to put out content, but you also support the most you can by going and watching other people's content too.
Absolutely. Zip Tie Diaries. Have you seen his Toyota?
I have.
Oh, that's crazy. I love it. And then you were talking to Johnny Johnson. I mean,
Yep.
that's cool stuff. So I absolutely, and it's not just supporting the little guys. You need to watch and comment and subscribe to Grinder TV, Frank at the Custom Life Vlog. Everybody, the internet is big enough for anybody. And if you don't find what you like on my channel, go find something that gets you going, that wants to get you out in the garage and build your truck.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better. What's important is, like you said, we all support each other, because I know there's a bunch of, there's people that have text groups and they have WhatsApp going or Facebook Messenger, and they'll say, hey, I just posted a video. Can you check it out? And that type of thing. And they'll go and they'll watch it all the way through. One thing I've learned from the algorithm stuff that can very much hurt someone on YouTube is you don't want to have someone click on your video and watch it for like 5 seconds and go, I don't like it, and then they click out of it, right? Because the way the algorithm works is it's kind of going, okay, well, this guy's got 100 people that went in and in like 5 seconds jetted out, like something they didn't like. So I encourage people, if you truly are supporting a channel, maybe you're at work and you're allowed to have the internet and you pull up another browser and you're watching Geoff at Mini Garage, and you're listening to maybe what he's saying, but you're going, okay, I don't need to know how to cut and weld that. Just let it run through and listen to what he's saying. Same thing with the podcast. There's nothing visual on our YouTube post from a podcast standpoint. If you're listening to it, just let it run through. That counts as minutes watched, and that's a good thing for all of us.
Absolutely, and please be interactive. Comment on the videos. Tell us what you want to see more of, what you want to see less of, and we'll try to make it happen. I mean, and from the very beginning, this is just the way that we build mini trucks. It's not the end all be all. Last week, we just got a bead roller, and we're gonna play with that and do some stuff. When I was at LST, I talked to Chad Luke. He's talking about flying out here and giving us some tips and tricks on that, and so this should be fun. And we unbox it. Hopefully, I'll have some video up for that in the next week or two.
And there's a perfect example. You talk about bead rolling, Chad Luke and Sean Rose, those guys mingle and get along really well, and, they're not at each other's throats. There's plenty out there for everyone. Chad's got his normal stuff, and then, Sean's hustling and doing all of his stuff too. So it kind of just goes to show you that people aren't going to step on each other's toes, and that's the one thing I love about the podcast community. We've seen guys like Mini Truck Colt, Future Mini Truckers, the custom scene, of course, LCD, OLP. There's plenty enough out there, and we've learned, right, Geoff, that that people really, they want to consume more and more. And I think what the key is when people realize that, and then they realize that someone's probably going to listen to LCD, and then they're going to jump right over and then listen to OLP. That's how we all grow together.
Right, yeah. And it's, I mean, like I said before, there's enough internet, there's enough people. As long as we support each other, we will all continue to grow and all continue to strive, and the scene will continue to live, not just go away.
Yeah, 100%. Shows, podcasts, YouTube. The world we live in now, there's plenty of ways, by the way, social media, there's plenty of ways to support each other and to help the scene grow. And I think whether it be someone like yourself that's given some tech tips, building cool stuff, getting your hands dirty, doing some stuff that I can't even do, swapping motors with the blindfolds on, like your D Brown back in the day in the slam dunk contest. Wearing a fucking blindfold.
That's right.
I mean, dude, you guys are doing it all. And one of the many benefits of this scene of ours is people like you and I, we've been able to become homies, and we're literally, I'm Florida man, and you're Washington, Oregon man. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah. And it's great to be able to crisscross and do this stuff together. And it's like seeing Ruben in Vegas, and meeting Jason Bell at Mini Nats. I wouldn't have been able to do this without the help of my friends and family, and I'm just excited that it's all working out and that I've met so many great people. I'm so humbled and thankful.
Yeah, 100%. And even like Craig Braid, like I said, man, I mean, maybe he can let me borrow a couple bucks because I think he's got some cash like he stored somewhere. But
I think he's got a duffel bag or two.
A duffel bag, exactly. Dude, we talked about a lot, bro. I wanted to hit upon the show, Class Act, Kicking It Old School, just kind of catch up with you. We see each other at a lot of shows. I know we're both kind of slowing down a little bit, but we've got other things where we're putting the pedal down. And I encourage people, like I said earlier, don't feel bad if you can't make it to a show. Like Geoff and I will tell you, the shows make the scene go round. Don't get me wrong, right? That's 100. But if you can't get to a show, ask the homies to come by, wrench on your ride, get some motivation, watch some Mini Garage, listen to some OLP, do what you got to do. But we all know that if you can get your project that little bit of momentum that you need, that's going to get you back on the rise, right, Geoff?
Absolutely.
Real deal, man. Well, why don't you give a shout out to your family before we end this one out?
Well, my wife and I, our 18th wedding anniversary will be next week on the 17th of April.
Damn.
So I want to give my wife a shout out. She went with me to LSC this year, and she hadn't been to a truck show in a long time, and she had a good time. So that was awesome. So happy 18th anniversary, babe. Oh, I guess while I'm shouting out anniversaries, the Tick Mark Willies are their anniversaries next week too on the third. I think it's the 13th.
You guys are a long lost family.
Right, long lost family. So yeah, Kim and Dave, happy anniversary next week. And, all my Northwest family up here, Ron, Bush, Eli, Jakob, Eric, Glenn. We have a good time on Mini Garage, and we really enjoy all the support.
Yeah, 100%. And look, I can't let you go without you mentioned LST. You came out a year ago with the Mazda. You took home the Minis on the Rise award. You were so thankful. But you also, the next year, you said, listen, I want to go. I love LST, but I'm not going to be able to trailer or drive down. And we totally understand, right? But you still flew out. You brought your wife. You guys had like a whole nother experience, right? Because, you didn't have to drive home. But what's a couple of things that you would say to someone that they need to get their ass out next year in February to Lone Star Throwdown 2023?
If you have never been, plan on it. I mean, the weather is a toss-up, but the amount of the sheer magnitude of trucks, vendors, people, I mean, it's got it all. It really does. And then you get to go and have some pink tacos.
Dude, and then that RA area under the big covered area. I mean, dude, they have enough vehicles there, right? Shout out to Relaxed Atmosphere to have like in some states, that's a freaking show in itself, And then, oh, by the way, the whole other side is C10s and C20s and C30s. I mean, dude, it's fire emoji 1,000, bro. So, but Geoff, Geoff, my homie, my brother. Love seeing you at shows. Love slapping hands, man. And thanks for the good message that we posted on our YouTube channel. So everyone go check it out. Man, you got anything else for all the awesome listeners?
If you're not doing anything, the first weekend in June, come on out to Boring, Oregon, and check out what we do up here in the Northwest.
Yeah, and it's technically June 11th.
Yep.
June 11th, so that'll be technically the second Saturday. But come on up, and believe it or not, I think that is the The Goonies Day is that week, believe it or not. Now, I know that's going to probably be, I didn't look up Boring, Oregon to Astoria, but if you guys really want to get crazy, maybe I'll come in, but go up for the Goonies Day in Astoria and then head over to Boring, Oregon, class act, kicking it old school. Geoff, it's always a pleasure, brother. Have a safe weekend and keep the minis on the rise.
Thank you, and peace out, homie.
Late. Have a good weekend, everyone.